5. LLS helped me file my insurance claims properly.
Day 5,840 and counting, and I'm still in remission.
To learn more and get help on day 1, day 2, day 983, or any day, please visit LLS.org or call 1-800-955-4572. That's LLS.org, 1-800-955-4572.
Get the truth and nothing but the truth with Sherwin Hughes every weekday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on 101.7 FM, 1510 a.m. WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
It's time! It's time! It's Vader time!
You are watching a master at work.
Truth Nation, get ready for the greatest 60 minutes in radio, giving you his authentic and bold opinions, bringing you all the information, entertainment, and conversations you gotta hear. From local issues to trending topics and headline news, it is time for Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube. Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is your award-winning host, Kyle Wallace.
What up, Truth Nation? This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am Kyle Wallace, bringing you through the greatest 60 minutes in radio here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. We are live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the 3rd Street Market Hall at the Avenue. Shout out to my boy DJ Brothers. He always holding it down on the ones, ends of the twos. You can also watch and stream us live on YouTube, 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. I need them Sherwin numbers. Sherwin be having dang near 100 people watching them. I'll be at 30. I need to get to 100. Tell your wives, tell your kids, tell your friends, tell your family, tell them to watch and stream Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth on YouTube. 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. Give it a like and also hit that subscribe button as we are on our way to 5,000 subscribers. 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talk to Text line. And you know what? I forgot because, once I get out of here, I go to my other show, Kyle Bruston Nortman on ESPN Milwaukee, ESPN Madison, and ESPN Beaver Dam, 2 to 5. And I'll be out of here, and I don't be having a chance to come back and check none of the talk to text from yesterday or keep up with anything. I'll be out of, and I think every single day it re-ups. But I wanted to go through the talking text yesterday because me and Tony from Tulsa had he sent me the stuff that he said he was going to send me. He sent it to me, and I'm like, brother, why you send me this? He sent me something that basically rebutted what he said. So I was like, stop it, Zach. I could change that. What? How do I change the date? Oh, today's message. You a lie. You a lie. I was today years old when I realized that I could change the date. Boy, I wanted to see what he said back because, yesterday he sent me a message, and the message that he sent me basically rebutted what he said. And I was like, brother, what? And so I was very, very, very curious to see if he ever followed up to that. So I'll definitely check on that during the come on now. That's what I'm saying. Yesterday he sent me an article talking about something. He sent me the article talking about, if Zelensky, his wife, had embezzled money, or Zelensky embezzled money that was sent from the USA. And so he sent me the article that said it, but then also the article rebutted it, saying that's not true. The dealership that it got from said it wasn't true. And his response was, of course the mainstream media would say that. Then why would you send me that? Don't send me nothing if it ain't going to prove your point. But shout out to Tony from Tulsa because he's a faithful listener, very intelligent African-American brother as well. So shout out to him. Love having conversations with him. Love hearing his dialogue for the last 4 to 5 years since we had 1017 The Truth. But today I got to start off with a couple things. I took a look at my stocks. DJ Brother Zeke, do you have stocks? You got some investments?
I think so.
You got a couple. And so I do some individual trading as well. But then on top of that, I do work with Northwestern Mutual as well. And like I said, anybody, I'm telling you this right now, make sure you invest in yourself, because when I left working in higher education, I realized that that it wasn't as sweet when it comes to, matching and different things from companies. And so when I left working in higher ed, I said I got to do something. So I've been investing in, Northwestern Mutual, my financial advisor there. And I took a look at the stocks today, and I almost fell out my seat. Stock market is getting rocked today, and it is specifically getting rocked because of the tariffs that hit today. You're talking about a 25% tariff on Mexico, a 25% tariff on Canada, additional tariff on China as well. And now America is getting retaliatory tariffs coming from Canada. You got the Premier of Ontario threatening to cut off energy to states like Michigan and New York and other places as well. It's a crazy times. And so the tariffs hit today, and the stock market got absolutely rocked today. I mean, it is sad. A 10% tariff on China. It is sad. And so we're going to see the cost of goods go up. But one thing I will say about that is today does suck, but hopefully this will balance everything out. Hopefully this is just a big reaction to the tariffs and the market trying to recorrect itself. And all the money that was gained, all the stocks investments that were gained after Trump was elected have now actually just dipped out, where basically everything post-election that went up has basically gone back down. And so rough day for the stock market, rough day for people's portfolios. But I don't want people to overreact yet, right? Don't overreact, because I'm not a person that wants people to go crazy and think, oh, my gosh, the sky's falling in. I just want y'all to know that, yes, these tariffs are going to suck. They are. The market's going to react weird to these tariffs as well. But I also want y'all to know this is not the time for us to overreact. We should wait until May or June, right? If markets are still down in May and June, then maybe we can react a certain way. Oh, my goodness, I just saw one of my stocks that was at like 140 last week at 105 right now. My Amazon stock dropped down as well. It's crazy. But then on top of that, if prices are still high come May and June, right, if we're talking about unemployment is still rising, then we can panic. So we got to wait until May, until June. If this kind of settles out and things settle in, because you don't know what's going to happen in between time. There may be agreements that are made, so tariffs get lifted. But this is just a reaction for today. But if we find ourselves with low unemployment going into May and June, the summer months, if we find ourselves with high gas prices and higher prices for our day-to-day items, where people have to pick and choose whether or not they're going to take their vacations in the summer, that's when we need to start panicking. But at this point right now, there's no reason to panic based off what's happening, because you never know what could happen next week. We can already have next week. The tariffs can be gone. So I don't want everybody to overreact to anything right now. I know y'all know I'm anti-Trump, but I'm not going to overreact to what we're seeing right now in the stock market. So that's something that I'm not going to do. But 833-212-1017, that is the Truth Talk to text line. And also something I want to talk about, I love gifts. I don't know if my love language is gifts or not, but I love gifts. But if you see here on 101.7 The Truth on YouTube, 101.7 The Truth on YouTube, you can watch and stream live. I got a nice little gift basket. DJ Brothers, you see this nice little gift basket I got here? So I got this nice little gift basket here from the one and only the Milwaukee Brewers. Sent me a nice little gift basket to just show their appreciation for 101.7 The Truth. And with this gift basket that we have here, I'm excited to show some of the goodies that they gave me inside of this gift basket, because the Milwaukee Brewers have announced that the home opener for their game is going to be on March 31st. Yes, March 31st is the home opener, where first pitch will be at 1:10. The Truth may or may not be broadcasting that game, but the significance of this is that not only is that the home opener, but that will be the first home opener and first game of the season and first time that the Milwaukee Brewers will take the field without having Bob Uecker as the broadcaster for the Milwaukee Brewers. We're not just talking about Bob Uecker just as the overall, on earth. We're talking about the first time the Milwaukee Brewers take the field without Bob Uecker being the radio host for the Milwaukee Brewers in that season. And so they're going to do a celebration of life for Bob Uecker that day, which is going to be really, really exciting. They're also, They're going to continue to celebrate his life throughout the season, but you'll see something him honor his name in the outfield, so that'll be super, super exciting. But then on top of that, something I'm really excited about is the fact that they have a lot of great giveaways as well, exclusive offers. So one of the exclusive offers that you'll see that I have in here, Truth Nation, is a T-shirt in the Terrace. The crew is offering an exclusive Jackson Churio T-shirt with select opening day Terrace level seats, so 5,000 special tickets, and people will get this nice Jackson Churio show. I love me some Jackson Churio. He's a young sensation. He's only 20 years old, and he's one of the best players in baseball already. But, this is a big shirt. They gave me like an extra large. What is this? I can't fit this. But it's a Jackson Churio shirt, so people can get that shirt here. But then also shout out to the great partners. Something else they have is Lion Kugels, who is a classic brand here in Milwaukee. They have their Barrel Man Ale, which is a Barrel Man Ale, amber ale, that the Milwaukee Brewers especially are brewed for them. So really excited about that. Shout out to Carbless, a big partner with Good Karma Brands, Carbless Cocktail, and then Nicolay Water. So shout out to the Brewers, and thank y'all for sending me this pack. And definitely make sure y'all get the Brewers tickets this season and go see the games. I know we love tailgating. We love supporting baseball. And I always think about, as a kid going to Brewers games, and also, as a kid, watching my grandpa watch the Brewers games as well. So it's always something exciting. They have a lot of great giveaways as well this year. So make sure y'all go ahead and support the Milwaukee Brewers. And the home opener details were released yesterday, and we will have the home opener on March 31st. So extend your weekend from Sunday into Monday and attend Brewers opening day. So shout out to the crew. Let me put my stuff away because I will be turning up using this at the Brewers game and watching the Brewers, and also wearing this big old shirt probably to bed. But 833-212-1017. So for today, where I want to start at, Truth Nation, is on the other side, we're going to talk a little bit about my weekend, right? Like, as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that I don't really have friends' weekends that often. And this past weekend, I had a great boys' weekend. I mean, it was dope. It was a good time. It was a really good time. We went to Potawatomi Casino Hotel. We went to the sports book. We got hooked up. Shout out to my boy Louise. Hooked us up with a nice table so we could see the big old screen. If you follow me on Instagram, Kyle W414 on Instagram. I think that's my name, or Kyle Wallace 414 on Instagram. If you follow me on the gram, you definitely would have saw me and my boys hanging out over the weekend, kicking it. It was a great time. And it was something that, Zach asked me, it's not the ESPN one. I changed my name from ESPN Kyle W to Kyle Wallace 414 because I need to be more inclusive to the fact that I had a show here on 1017 The Truth. So I changed my name. But it is that on Twitter. It's ESPN Kyle W on Twitter, but Instagram I changed my name because I'm very, very active on Instagram. But with this fun time I had with my good friends, right? All black men plus a Cuban. But as we have gotten older, we haven't grown apart. And a lot of y'all can probably relate to this, right? You get older, you don't really grow apart. You just don't prioritize being in person with people, right? Because of the fact that you have other things going on, right? Like we went from having great times from chasing women. Yeah, that's what we did. We was young in our 20s a decade ago. We'd be on Water Street. We'd be on North Avenue back when North Avenue was popping back in the day. We'd be on Brady Street, Jefferson. Like we would be out here chasing women. That's what we did. It was fun. That is what the chase is what brought us all together, just so we can be out here in these streets. So that was something fun. But as we have gotten older, we matured, our taste has changed, right? Like that was a wonderful time. But now as adults, we're chasing something different, right? We're chasing our financial security. We're chasing our personal dreams. We're chasing the American dream, the family, the white picket fence, a better opportunity. So as we have gotten older, we have changed it, right? Like there's a song where Lil Jon said, "Turn down for what?" I used to love Turn Down for What, but now it's like turn down for what? Turn down because I'm tired. It's 9 o'clock. I need to go to bed. I'm not trying to be around all that noise and all that energy. So I really enjoy hanging out, but most importantly, I enjoy being out and hanging out with my black friends because there's something about hanging out with people that you can connect with, people that you grew up with. And I mean, all these people I went to school with from elementary school, middle school, and only one came in high school, my boy Lies. But there's a power in being able to hang out with a lot of black men, because the one thing that we can talk about is we can talk about the commonalities that we have, right? And there is such an importance in having a friend circle where you can have these deep conversations. Now, we don't go too deep, but having conversations about life, relatability, about mental health. And so one thing that did, something I just think about is I think about the fact that for me, I feel mentally strong. I feel mentally stable. But you really don't know that you need to be hanging out with a social circle of people that you really care about and that care about you until you actually get done doing it and you're relieved, right? We went to Pato, we watched a boxing fight. And as I reflected upon that, I was extremely happy, not just because I got to be with the people I grew up with, but also because I had an opportunity just to, chat it up, right? Hang out, talk shop with the people I care about. But it really got me to thinking about in the black community, we need to be able to have outlets like this. And why don't we have outlets like this consistently? And it got me thinking about mental health. So on the other side, I'm going to tell y'all a story about something that really stuck with me. Because as I hung out with my friends, black group, predominantly black men, as I hung out with them, I also, was reminded of something that I heard a couple weeks ago, maybe over about 2 months ago, that made me feel sad about the fact that African-American males cannot always express themselves the way we would love to express ourselves. We can't express love to one another the way we really should be expressing to one another because of the societal barriers that have been put up for us to be able to express ourselves. So on the other side, I want to tell a story about a man crying and why I was envious that this man was able to be vulnerable, because as a black man, I don't have the same opportunities to be vulnerable and let my emotions truly show. So we're going to talk about that on the other side. 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talking text line. I really want to tell this story because it really hit me about how African Americans, we really struggle with the fact that we have so many different social things that are against us that don't allow us to truly thrive and be the open individuals we want to be. So again, 833-212-1017. That's the Truth Talk to text line. And somebody said, no, we got a partner in here, so I can't read. I'm gonna read some of the chats coming up next because y'all tripping inside of there. But 833-212-1017. That's the Truth Talk to text line. Make sure y'all watching Stream Us Live. And on the other side, I'm gonna talk about the fact that I envy other people, other men that have the ability to cry in their community while black men have to hold it in and always be the tougher and bigger person. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
More of Truth to Power is next on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is 1017 The Truth, Kyle Wallace, and the time is now, Milwaukee. Truth to Power is your platform, and on my show, our community always has a voice. There is no topic that is off limits, and I always give you my authentic opinions on how I feel, because keeping it real is the only way I know how to get down. Listen to Truth to Power with me, Kyle Wallace, every day from noon to 1 p.m. on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on YouTube at 1017 The Truth. Milwaukee Black Talk.
Are record energy costs putting a squeeze on your fixed or limited incomes? With limited incomes not keeping up with the lingering effects of inflation, you might be one of tens of thousands of Wisconsin residents who are struggling to survive in the blistering heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter. While you haven't asked for it, the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy assistance providers are here to help. No Wisconsin resident should ever have to face the challenge of living without heat or power or face homelessness. For a hand up, apply today and call 1-800-506-5596. That's 800-506-5596. Or visit www.kwwf.org.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because their home policies help protect your dreams and come with peace of mind. Save up to 25% by bundling home, auto, and life. American Family Insurance. Get a quote from an agent at amfam.com. Products are not available in every state. Discounts may not apply to all coverages on an auto or home policy. Discounts do not apply to life insurance policies. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company assigned its operating companies, American Family Life Insurance Company, 6 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
My overall experience with Gruber Law Offices has been phenomenal.
The treatment was excellent.
They will be supportive of you. They will listen to you.
It was a great experience knowing that I had people to help me.
I know I could count on them to do what I needed to get done.
Experience with Gruber was great.
They gave me my life back.
It was amazing.
He gets results.
We know how to win. If you've been injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Gruber Law Offices had my best interests at heart.
Make history at the amazing 10th annual UNCF Mayor's Mass Ball on March 29th. Join Mayor Cavalier Johnson for an unforgettable evening that will transform lives. Every dollar raised helps promising local students achieve their college dreams through vital scholarships. This premier gala doesn't just celebrate our community, it builds future leaders. Be a part of Milwaukee's most meaningful social event of the year. Reserve your place now at uncf.org/MMB. That is uncf.org/MMB.
It is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
And I hope you cry for me like I cry for you every night for you. Take it easy on me, baby, cause I tried with you, saw my life with you, end of time with you. Now we're strangers and I hope
it is Truth to Power on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am Kyle Walsh, the host of Truth to Power right here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. We are live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the 3rd Street Market Hall in the Avenue, 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talk to text line. Also, make sure y'all watch and stream us live on YouTube, 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. Now, in the comments, they talked about, Kyle, no strip clubs. Come on. I did not go to a strip club this weekend. I'm not a fan of strip clubs. I've been to them now. I've been to a strip club now. I done dabbled. But two reasons why I'm not good for a strip club. Because first and foremost, when I did go to a strip club, I had 10 ones. And I had to use them wisely. And then I realized these strip clubs ain't no fun. Ain't no fun having somebody shake rump in your face. I don't want all that. I want real rump. I want rump I can take home. Dump that. My mama listening. But my whole thing, I'm joking. Oh, did you really do it? Oh, you didn't. You had to do that, Brother Z. But the whole point that I'm trying to make is that me and my boys, we hung out last weekend, right? Like, we had a good time together, and it's so powerful to have black men come together and hang out. I love that Potter was cracking on the weekend, and I love having that opportunity to get out and be part of a social circle that I grew up with, right? Like, as I've gotten older, I have prioritized friendships less and less, right? I still have the friendships, but friendships in person has not been my priority. And one thing that I believe why we need to have more friendships, especially in the black community, is because the black community is seeing a rise in mental health crises. And we as black men, we are the ones who are afraid to speak up, right, and be open because it's seen as a weakness. A lot of us in our community see being open about our emotions as a weakness, right? And then we search for other outlets for this weakness because we bottle stuff up. And when I say we, I'm talking about I as well, right? Like, we use other vices in order to let our stress out, right? So either some of us may use alcohol, some of us may use drugs to relieve stress. Some people may use sexual activity to free ourselves from the stress, not realizing that these actions can actually be detrimental to our own personal lives. They can cause issues in our own personal lives, because I feel like we as black men don't have space, right? And we aren't encouraged to be open about the fact that we deal with mental health stuff too. You know, I just recently was able to be more comfortable saying I love you to my bros because of the fact that I realized I had a conversation around the age of 30. And around the age of 30, late 20s, let me see what's that. Around late 20s, early 30s is when a lot of individuals start suffering through mental health crisis. And I had somebody in my life, a friend of mine, who we started seeing that change and seeing them suffer through the mental health crisis. And that was an awakening for me, because when you're young, you just think everybody gonna be cool, everything gonna be great, we always gonna be the same. But then you realize that life is real. And so when you see a person you grew up with go through a mental health crisis, where you see them doing things that you know are not them, and it seems outer body. And I'm telling y'all, some of the stories that I heard and that I saw and I had to interact with, and I said, man, this ain't him. But unfortunately, you could only suppress these demons and these emotions for so long before they come out in many different ways. And that's the unfortunate thing about this. And why I said I wanted to tell a story is that I was recently, probably the last 2 months, talking to a white guy. And we were having a conversation. It was me and a couple of the white dudes that were having this conversation. And they were talking about being vulnerable. They talked about how, hey, yeah, I cry. I had something that happened in my life, and I cried, right? And I felt emotions, and I was really upset about it, and they didn't think nothing of it, right? This man was extremely vulnerable. He went through something in his life. He was extremely vulnerable, and he talked about crying. And what I noticed during that conversation, I was the only black dude in this conversation, but what I noticed in the conversation is that the other gentlemen who were in this conversation, they didn't think nothing of it. But when I heard him say, I cried, I'm like, why'd you even have to tell me that? And I was jealous and envious of the fact that there are other individuals from other races that have the freedom, and I say freedom because I think it is freedom, to be able to openly express themselves. Right? Because the way I was raised and the way that I know a lot of people in our community were raised is we were raised that we can't be vulnerable. We can't show weakness, that we can't express our emotions, that expressing our emotions makes us soft, makes us weak. And at some point, we have to break that cycle of the fact that men, specifically African Americans, we can't cry. We can't be upset. We can't express our emotions because suppressing these emotions aren't healthy for us. 833-212-1017. I just wanted to talk about this today because I really feel envious of the fact that why can't black men be more vulnerable? Right? Why do women not like men who are emotional? And how are we raising our young males, black males specifically, to be more in tune with their emotions? Because again, when I think about my life growing up, is that I don't recall seeing my father cry very often or at all. I mean, clearly when my grandmother passed away, he was overwhelmed with emotions. But I didn't grow up like that, right? I didn't grow up being told it was okay for me to express my emotions. Like, I can't even remember once I became a teenager, especially a young adult, how often I actually did express my emotions. I literally will tell myself because we all have bad days, point blank, period. And when we have those bad days and you feel that emotion coming through you, I know for myself, I always tell myself, tighten the hell up. Tighten up. You may feel this emotion deep down in your soul. You may feel upset, but it ain't worth crying over, right? It ain't worth letting it out because there's people in this world that have things worse off than you. So you need to tighten the hell up, be a man, and be strong. And for me, I don't know how healthy that is, and I don't know if I have some suppressed emotions or feelings, but what I do know is I cannot be the only one as an African American that sometimes feels as if we are not allowed to express our emotions, and we can't even have a moment in privacy to express our emotions without having self-embarrassment. Think about that. We as black men can't have a moment to ourselves, and not everybody, I can't just speak in general, but I feel like a lot of us, we as black men, especially millennial black men, especially baby boomer black men, especially Gen X, I feel like Gen Z and Gen Alpha, the next generations coming up, are so much more in tune with their emotions. But overall, I feel like a lot of us millennial men are afraid to cry. I haven't seen very many of my friends cry simply because of the fact that we'll be seen as weak, or even internalize the fact that we feel shameful for having emotions. I'm telling y'all, I was envious of this man just in the conversation, sharing a detail that wasn't even necessary to the story, but just talking about how he took a moment to himself to cry because he was feeling hurt. And I was jealous because I can't take that same moment without having self-judgment. 833-212-1017. Al, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. What are your thoughts about this conversation and talking about black men's mental health and the taboo topic that it is?
Well, first of all, whoever they got that mindset from, they got to give it back. Address your situation in private and move on from it, but you got to remember to keep on living and not beat yourself up. I wouldn't worry about what a woman don't like, because keep in mind, if she doesn't like it, she's not for you. So I would say just address your situation in private and take it from there. And remember, when life throws you lemons, just make a martini and don't beat up on yourself. But when you suppress it, you will come out crazy as a Betsy bug. And also be careful who you address your emotions to, because some people will take them same emotions and use it against you. But I wouldn't care about if what he or she don't like, because they not walking in your shoes and they got enough trouble trying to fill their own shoes, and you will be okay and live your day. Have a great day.
Thank you, Al. I appreciate the fact of you sharing some words of encouragement here on Truth Nation as we have the conversation about the taboo topic of black male mental health and the fact that, you know, a lot of us black men feel like we can't express ourselves, and there's numbers behind that. But again, I was taken back when I hung out with my friends this weekend, and again, we don't have deep conversations. We have surface level fun conversations. Matter of fact, my girl was like, "So what did y'all talk about?" I said, "Oh, we just talked about everything being good." He was like, "Oh, what about the one of my friends recently got married?" And he was like, "Oh, y'all talk about the marriage?" I said, nah. He said he got married. He showed us some pictures. He talked about the experience, what they did, and how they traveled. I said, no. She was like, "Oh, you boys are simple." I was like, "Yeah, we're just not emotional like that. We really, he showed us what he wanted to show us, right?" And so just overall for me, when I think about this, I just think about the fact that why can't we as black men be vulnerable? And if you feel this way as well, you can tap into the chat, 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. You can tap into the chat, or 833-212-1017. I see a lot of y'all tapping into the chat. I'm definitely going to get to that on the other side. But at some point, we definitely need to break this cycle, because there's statistics that show that suppressing these emotions can lead to lash outs in other places. And I don't personally want to be a statistic that lashes out anywhere, but I do think we just need to have a community conversation about how can we make sure that we as, black men have an outlet, and we as black men feel comfortable to be emotional, to be vulnerable, to let it all out. And something that I see in the chat, but also I have written down in my notes that I want to talk about, is I want to talk about the fact that why some of us may not feel comfortable being our authentic selves or letting out our emotions, especially in a workplace or professionally or out in public, because how we are demonized and how society has depicted us as African-American males as being so dangerous. So I want to talk about that on the other side. But again, 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talk to text line. We're having a conversation about the black male mental health taboo conversation and why can't black males be vulnerable. And as you as a parent, if you have young black boys that you are raising, or you raise young black boys, did you raise them to be vulnerable? Did you raise them to be in tune with your emotions? But how can we start having an open dialogue and an open conversation about mental health in the black male community? 833-212-1017. That's the Truth Talk to text line. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace. We'll have more conversation on the other side.
Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
With major changes coming out of Washington, our Wisconsin Supreme Court could be the last line of defense for our rights. The ACLU Voter Education Fund does not endorse or oppose candidates, but wants you to cast an informed vote in the Wisconsin Supreme Court election. So where do the candidates land on issues like abortion? Here are the facts. Brad Schimmel stated he supports banning abortion. Susan Crawford supports access to reproductive health care and successfully protected abortion rights while representing Planned Parenthood in Wisconsin. On April 1st, Wisconsin voters will make a critical decision about the future of abortion in our state. To learn more about the Wisconsin Supreme Court candidates, visit aclu.org/WI2025. Paid for by ACLU Voter Education Fund, 212-549-2500. Not authorized by any candidate or candidate's agent or committee.
ACLU Voter Education Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
This is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth for Axe Housing. Are you tired of paying a landlord rent when you should be paying yourself? Do you want to leave a financial legacy, or would you like to have a stable place to call home? Well, it's time for you to start on the path to owning your own home instead of renting. You can work with an Axe Housing coach, and they will teach you how home ownership can be a reality. Axe Housing has helped over 4,000 families in our neighborhoods. Many times your mortgage will be a lot less than what you're paying for rent. As an average Axe family who has been helped pays around $900 per month. No matter what barriers you think you're facing, Axe Housing coaches can assist you right now. An Axe Housing coach will help you create and stick to a plan and a budget and get you ready for home ownership. If you're not dreaming of home ownership by now, you certainly should be. Let's make it a reality with Axe Housing. Get started on a virtual orientation by clicking on axhousing.org. That is ACTShousing.org. Don't let where you are financially right now get in the way of your very bright future of becoming a homeowner. Axe coaches are here to help.
Truth Nation, let us talk our ish for a moment. There is no other station in the country where you get a front row seat to hear from some of the biggest names in politics, pop culture, and sports. People like Grammy Award winner John Legend.
Knowing that fight isn't over, knowing that we've got to stay motivated and stay inspired. Glory was a song that myself and Common wrote. Two brothers from the Midwest, from Chicago and from Springfield, Ohio.
Oscar Award winning actor Don Cheadle.
I know that we're the bright, shiny thing that sometimes gets the attention, but I would say don't listen to celebrities. You don't have to listen to us. Listen to yourself.
And President Donald Trump's son, Don Jr.
When did we have a strong economy? And I don't think anyone with a straight face can say right now. And the reality, when you look at it, it's not even voting for my father. Look at the team that's now surrounding him.
Tap into the award-winning and nationally recognized 1017 The Truth by downloading the Truth app and streaming us live at 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Milwaukee Black Talk.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 1017 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Brandon Sneib. The Milwaukee Bucks return to the hardwood tonight in Atlanta. They'll take on the Hawks. Tip-off time set for that game at 6:30. Over to baseball, where the Milwaukee Brewers have signed lefty starting pitcher Jose Quintana. This is a one-year deal valued at $4.5 million. And we'll stick with the Brewers. The good news was Quintana. The bad news is pitcher Aaron Ashby, according to manager Pat Murphy, sustained an oblique injury in last night's spring training outing. They'll have imaging done this week to determine the severity of that injury as well as the timetable for his return. And lastly, we'll head over back to the NBA, where Dallas Mavericks All-Star Kyrie Irving suffered a season-ending torn ACL in his left knee. That is according to ESPN sources. This sports update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
You are listening to Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Smiling on the outside, inside, dying. Listening to a grown man crying.
Calling all black business owners and entrepreneurs. Are you looking to share your story and grow your reach? We have teamed up with Associated Bank for our Black-owned business Give Back each quarter. 4 lucky business owners will win an opportunity to spotlight their brand and journey on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. To sign up for your business spotlight interviews, visit blackbusinessgiveback.com. That is blackbusinessgiveback.com. Let's rebuild our community's backbone through exposure on the truth. For official contest rules, head to blackbusinessgiveback.com. Associated Bank, member FDIC. This is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am Kyle Walsh, the host of Truth to Power. 833-212-1017. That's the Truth Talk to text line. Also, watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. Also, give that like button, that thumbs up button, and hit that subscribe button as well so you never miss any of your favorite shows. And we've been having a conversation just about the fact that African-American men cannot be vulnerable. right? We don't have the same opportunities to be vulnerable and express our emotions as other people because we're too afraid that we're either going to embarrass ourselves internally, but on top of that, we're afraid of expressing our emotions because we grew up thinking that that's weak or that's soft, right? Like we can't be vulnerable, and that type of vulnerability and the lack of having that vulnerability is honestly killing us and building up additional stress for us as black men. Now, I have a couple stats that I want to talk about as well. Is that understanding that this is not a great state for us to be in. And again, when I think about some of the things that we're going through and some of the untreated things, right? The things that are generational that we need to get a hold of and control of, it kind of upsets me. And when I read statistics such as, suicide is the third leading cause of death among African Americans the age of 15 to 24. That's something that should startle us, right? Like, yes, we may say, "Oh, that's all white people die by suicide." No, not quite. That's a trend that we're seeing in our community. So we can either act like it's taboo, and we can try to run away from it, or we can try to paint it as a picture that it's not us who struggle. But at the end of the day, there are African Americans that are struggling with this, and specifically African Americans are struggling with, between the age of 15 and 24, are struggling with these suicidal thoughts, right? And so we need to make sure that we're actually asking those questions. It means to make sure that we're telling somebody we love you, we acknowledge you, we feel you, we hear you. That is so important for us to do that on a day-to-day basis because that costs us not a thing, right? But what it could do is can save a life. And then on top of that, something that I saw is that African American men are 4 times more likely to die by suicide than African American women. And I'm not an African American woman, obviously. But one thing I do know is that they can slightly be more vulnerable. Now, their road in life and their path in life is definitely a struggle. Definitely a struggle based off a lot of the things that they have to deal with. But that should be something that's alarming. And the last thing is less than half of Americans with a mental health disorder get the treatment that they need, but the proportion of African Americans who need mental health treatment and get it is only half of that of whites. We are not seeking the necessary help and assistance that we need in order for us to truly thrive and live our full life. And something that I saw as well yesterday, again, there's a lot of different things, right? So sometimes the universe sends you different signs, hanging out with your friends and feeling at peace where you're at with your friends. And then, I saw a video yesterday on social media, and some of y'all may have seen this video as well. Down in Louisiana, a brawl broke out, right? A fight broke out. There were some young teens who got into a fight, and obviously after a fight comes out, people call the police come and they break it up. Now, the police come and they break it up down in Louisiana, and there was a video of a young boy looking very disheveled, shirt hanging off his shoulder because he was just in a fight. He was just throwing hands. And the young man was being talked to by a police sergeant. Now, according to this story, the police sergeant that the young man was talking to happened to actually be his uncle. So the police sergeant comes down. He sees his nephew, who was just part of this brawl. He pulls him to the side and he disciplines him. And you can't hear what's happening, but you can tell, right? You know when somebody's being disciplined. Because you can see the young man was standing there looking at his uncle, and the uncle was, talking aggressively. He was shaking his hand. He was showing his disappointment. He was teaching. He was educating. He was letting him know you have to be better. You can just tell he was impassioned when he was having his conversation. And so he ripped him a new one, and he clearly let him know that this is wrong. But at the end of it, at the end of all of this, he reached out and he gave his nephew a hug. And his nephew put his head on his shoulder and became emotional, right? And then he patted him on the head, he patted him on his back, and he embraced him and he showed him love. And this, to me, was a moment that we need to have more of because we in life are going to make mistakes. Everybody's going to make mistakes. Some mistakes are larger than others, right? Everybody's going to make mistakes. But to have a mentor, a leader, a family member, a disciplinarian that can come to a situation, break down the situation, and let you know you were wrong, tell you why you were wrong, but then also embrace you and love you at the same time is extremely powerful. Extremely powerful. But what I loved about that situation is after he got into him, and we done been in these, we all done been places when we done heard things. It's one of the things I hate. I absolutely hate when I go to certain places and I hear parents talk to their kids like they adults, cussing their kids out, telling them to bring their behinds over here, and not saying behind, but saying the A word, right? Like using language around their kids. It hurts my soul because that is not the way you talk to a child. And all you are doing is making that child grow up or mature faster than what they need to, and being exposed to things that they have no business being exposed to at the age of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like that's, you don't need that, right? We don't need to, admonish a child, berate a child. But the fact that after he got into him and laid into him, he hugged him and embraced him and allowed him to cry on his shoulder, he allowed for that young man to be vulnerable in that moment. And how many more young men who are running the streets, getting into trouble, doing things they shouldn't be doing at a young age, are missing that mentor or missing that ability or missing that moment to cry and be vulnerable? Because a lot of times when people act out and do stupid stuff, and listen, a fight happens. It is what it is. Most of us have been part of some type of fight. But when you have somebody there who's going to love you, but also be tough on you, and also allow you to be vulnerable, that can allow you to grow so much. It can allow you to grow exponentially. And so, again, I felt like this conversation was needed because in my life personally, but then just in general, there are very few times as a teenager, as a young person, where we get a chance to truly express our emotions and cry, or just express our emotions verbally, where we don't feel judgment from others or we don't feel judgment from ourselves. And I go back to what I was thinking about earlier because, work ain't always roses, right? It ain't always perfect. I have a pretty relaxed work life. I don't have much to complain about. But, every day ain't going to be perfect. And so one thing that I'm mindful of, but sometimes I just don't care because it is what it is that I'm mindful of the way that when I walk through this world as a black man, I'm already at a disadvantage of expressing my emotion because of the fact that I don't feel comfortable doing it. But then when I do express how I feel in my emotions, sometimes it's taken as me being the aggressor. Example, I never forget when I used to walk kids from Oliver Wendell Homeschool to Riverside as part of the CLC program, and I walked kids from the elementary school to the high school. And as we made that walk, I remember one of the kids catcalled a woman and said, "Hey, baby, what's happening?" Like, he's just doing what he had seen others do. So he catcalled this one white woman. And I never forget, we just, hey, shut up. Let's go. Keep walking. And I remember we got to Riverside. And, we get to all the kids. And I remember this white woman came in. She came in and she was emotional. She was frustrated. She was mad. And she said, "I'm sick of this. I am so sick of young kids, adults, everybody in this community calling me, gawking at me, saying things to me. I'm tired. I'm sick of it." And I said, "Ma'am, can you just calm down really quickly? Because these are our children." And she said, "Don't tell me to calm down. Don't put your hands in my face." Oh, my God, she's putting her hands in my face. And at that moment, I said to myself, what? And I just remember there was women who was there who I worked with who actually grabbed me and took me back and said, "Kyle will take care of it. Kyle will take care of it." And I was just taken back because I was trying to diffuse a conversation. But simply by me putting my hands, in a gesture that if you can see on YouTube, just putting my palms out and just saying, "Hey, let's calm down a little bit," she took that as an attack on her. And so for me, it was just a constant reminder that there is a thin line that I can cross when it comes to even diffusing the situation. Or there's not a lot of space for me to express my emotions, as I've done many times, where people all of a sudden, when I express my emotions, all of a sudden I'm acting out of character. As black men, even when we do want to express ourselves in a professional setting, in a friend setting, out in public sometimes, and we definitely know that we have a short leash out on Water Street, or at least we used to. I ain't been to Water Street, and DJ Brothers, maybe you can tell me. I don't know if it's even though you be DJing, but we have a definitely short leash when it comes to how much people are willing to take from us. And that right there could be detrimental to us or a deterrent from us to even express ourselves. But 833-212-1017, Tyrone, what are your thoughts on this conversation talking about black men being vulnerable?
What's up there, man? Crack-a-lag-a-lackin', Mardi Gras Fat Tuesday, crack-a-lag-a-lackin'.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get it. Am I coming through? You got me?
I got you, Tyrone. What's your thoughts on this?
Yes, sir. Well, I'll just say this very quickly because I know you're up against the clock there, but oh man, you got to have release. You're right. It'll be like a cancer. I mean, my brother was 2 years older than me, And, you know, I looked up to him throughout our years and everything. We fought. I loved him, man. I loved him. I could mess with him, but couldn't nobody else mess with him. We fought like cats and dogs. My brother passed away, man. I cried I lost about 15. I lost 15 pounds in tears, man. It's because he was my brother, you know. Mm-hmm. Nobody else could mess with him, but we fought like cats and dogs, boy. I mean, you know, get out my sock drawer. Don't talk about my Bruce Lee poster. Yeah. I mean, boy, but I mean, just you know, just brotherly things, man. You know, same thing. I mean, Greenwood Archer Pine, Tulsa, Oklahoma. I mean, Breonna Taylor. I mean, I haven't met the young lady or Philando Castile, but there's not a day that don't go by that I don't think about Tamir Rice, Breonna Taylor, Philando Castile, Greenwood Archer and Pine, Tulsa, Oklahoma. The things that have been done to us, you know. You've got to have a release. I mean, even if a song like, you know, the Precious Blood of the Lamb, you know, the Lamb of God, you know, First Time Ever I Saw Your Face, Roberta Flack. I mean, in the middle of the night, you know, sometime you'll shed a tear. If the song is right and it hits, you know, just let it flow. You know, you're a human being, you know.
Thank you, Tyrone.
But I'll go with that. I could be on. I'm going to get down there and sit with you for a whole hour on one of your shows there. But we'll connect. Thank you. Be blessed. Great day.
You as well. Thank you, Tyrone. I saw your face. Tyrone was right. He's absolutely right. Is that we got to take time to have a release. And I ask you, Truth Nation, for the men who are listening, do you ever have a moment to release? Do you ever have a moment where you can feel comfortable enough to simply let your emotions out, whether it's anger, whether it's happiness, whether it's sadness? Do you ever have the moment where you can just have that moment to yourself and have a release? And I ask the queens listening, do you support your king, your brother, your nephew, your cousin? Do you encourage them and let them know that, hey, listen, baby, you can have a shoulder to cry on? Because sometimes that ask, that assistance can mean the world to somebody, and letting them know that the acceptance of it is okay can help save a life. 833-212-1017. We'll wrap up the show on the other side. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
More of Truth to Power is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. The Truth app is home for all the Milwaukee Panther content you would want.
He'll dart baseline, and he will tomahawk it home with his right hand.
From conversations on the airwaves.
We're going to defend every board up the floor and every bounce and every pass. And we've got good depth, and you have to have good depth for the way we play.
To game highlights.
And at the top, rises for three over Young and buries it.
Find The Roar on the Truth app, Apple, Spotify, and wherever else you get your podcasts to keep up with Panthers hoops.
Donald Trump is out of control, stopping payments for health care and food for hungry kids, eliminating the Department of Education, and letting unelected billionaire Elon Musk fire anyone he wants and get access to your most private information. We need a Supreme Court justice who will keep them in check before they go too far. That's Judge Susan Crawford.
I'm Judge Susan Crawford. As a former prosecutor and now as a judge, I believe in protecting you, your family, and your right to privacy, and that women have the right to make their own decisions about their health care. Because to me, that's just common sense.
Donald Trump and Elon Musk are both backing Brad Schimmel. He'll do whatever they want. That's why we need Judge Susan Crawford, the common sense judge who will keep them in check. Judge Susan Crawford for Supreme Court. Paid for by Susan Crawford for Wisconsin. Crawford for WI.com.
American Family Insurance is a lot like Captain America. He protects the world.
It's just doing my job.
And we help protect your dreams with amazing auto and home coverage. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com. And see Marvel Studios' Captain America: Brave New World.
Suit up. We need to move.
In theaters February 14th. This film is not yet rated.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Make history at the amazing 10th annual UNCF Mayor's Mass Ball on March 29th. Join Mayor Cavalier Johnson for an unforgettable evening that will transform lives. Every dollar raised helps promising local students achieve their college dreams through vital scholarships. This premier gala doesn't just celebrate our community. It builds future leaders. Be a part of Milwaukee's most meaningful social event of the year. Reserve your place now at uncf.org/MMB. That is uncf.org/MMB.
When you've been seriously injured, you'll need a team with knowledge and experience to get the results you deserve. Call Gruber Law Offices today. Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
1, 2, 3, ho!
It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am Kyle Walsh, the host of Truth to Power. We have been talking about black male vulnerability and why black men don't have the space to be vulnerable. 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talk to text line. And on the Truth Talk to text line, some of y'all chimed in and said, listen, emotions make you cry sometimes, just like the H-Town song. Okay, I get you. I feel you on that one. And then Henry said, crying for me is when I shed a tear for a loved one who is passed and gone. How I know the God is putting in good word. Oh, the God is putting a good word for me, and that is fantastic. Kind of sad. The only time we can cry is when we lose a loved one, because I know we have a lot more emotions to that. Also, 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. Not really a city girl said, I'm a little behind on the show, but I feel you, Kyle. Having a crew that is on the same wavelength is key, and it keeps you grounded and motivated as well. And also, somebody said stress is a silent killer, and the only way to fight it off is to always surround yourself by people that bring you irrationality out of you. So thank y'all, Truth Nation, for engaging in this powerful conversation, and definitely be the outlet for somebody. And even if that person don't want you to be an outlet, let them know that it's okay. Hey, you know what? Ain't nobody gonna judge you. Let it out because it's good for your health. Lastly, Trump has something going on tonight where he's going to be talking on TV. Only thing I want to encourage y'all to do is make sure after the speech is over, y'all ain't got to listen to the National News Network, but just go and look for fact checking, just to check the facts, because 90% of what's going to be said today is going to be false and not true. But just make sure that y'all don't allow for the headlines that you see or something that he says that comes out of his mouth. Don't just take it for face value. Make sure y'all do your own research and do your own homework, because what you're going to hear tonight is a whole bunch of nonsense and mostly lies. But this has been Truth to Power with Kyle Walsh on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Thank y'all so much for joining me here today. The Tory Lowe Show is up next. I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace out.
You cannot look me in the face and tell me that America is the greatest country in the world when you have people who cannot have access to quality health care.
This is The Truth Unfiltered.